Thanks for joining me on episode 8 of the Field of Quiver Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Jody Thibodeau, and it's my goal in each episode to help you fill your quiver with God and the great outdoors. But for this episode, I'm going to try and help you fill that empty space underneath your Christmas tree with some pretty good outdoor gifts for whomever it is that you're shopping for this holiday season. But before we get into this aptly titled episode of Last Minute Outdoors Christmas Gift Guide, since we're only 2 weeks out from Christmas at the point of releasing this episode, there's just a couple of things I wanted to mention that have come onto my radar over the last couple of weeks since the last episode came out. The first is coming from Colorado. The Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission has their own version of Elf on the Shelf, which is pretty cool. They have an elk on a shelf. Now, if you're not following the Colorado Department of Parks and Wildlife, which is technically actually called the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission, then look them up on social media and you can follow the adventures or misadventures of their elk on a shelf. And they actually have included how you can make your own elk on a shelf with a plush elk and how to cut out the elf costume to dress it up appropriately. Now, also from Colorado, it as of the release of this episode, it will have actually gone into effect, but the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service 10J rule, which relates to endangered species and is part of the Endangered Species Act, on December the 8th, that rule becomes effective in the state of Colorado, which will allow the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission to begin their process of reintroducing gray wolves to the state. Now, they already have a plan that has been approved that they intend to follow to try and reestablish a gray wolf population in Colorado. And there has been some confusion about what was exactly happening on December 8th from what I've been seeing on social media. Now, it's clear that there's been at least enough people thinking that December 8th is going to be the release date for these gray wolves that Colorado Parks and Wildlife actually had to come out and say, no gray wolves are being released on December 8th. December 8th is the official date that this rule goes into effect that will allow us to reintroduce gray wolves. According to their plan that they have come up with and which has been approved, their goal is to reintroduce gray wolves by December 31st. So somewhere between the 8th and 31st, expect news to come out of Colorado that they have begun the process of reintroducing gray wolves into the state. Now, the last thing that I want to bring up as far as what's on my radar is once this episode releases, we'll be a week out from Chris Wells, the Bass Chaplain's boat raffle. If you haven't already, go to his website, check out what he's offering, which is a raffle ticket that supports his ministry. It is $100 per ticket. They will do the raffle on December 16th at the Bass Pro Shops in Greenville, South Carolina. If you're in the area, feel free to stop by, say hey to Chris and a few other folks that are going to be hanging out with him all day. And you could win a bass boat or one of 10 loose reels that are also going to be given away as part of this raffle. Now, that's pretty much it for on the radar. This is going to be a pretty short, sweet, to the point episode. And some of the items that I'm going to mention, I own, and they're gifts that I wouldn't hesitate to buy to give away as a gift. Some of these items I don't have, but since I've found out about them, they've gone onto my wish list, my personal wish list of things that I would like to have. Now, I am not sponsored or supported or receive any kickbacks from any of the companies who manufacture the items that I'm going to mention. And if you go to the website, fieldquiveroutdoors.com, there's actually a link where, well, multiple links. Each of the individual items that I'm going to mention in this episode, I'll have a link to them, and you can go there, buy them directly from that website that the link goes to, or you can use a search engine of your choosing and try and find it cheaper. For the most part, these items, the links that I've used, are either the cheapest option where I can find them, or in the case of one of the items, it is the only place that still has the particular item in stock. Now, again, bear in mind the title of the episode, this is a last minute gift guide. So, depending on where you're getting it from, you might want to check and make sure that you can receive it in time by Christmas, because depending on when you're listening, it may be less than the 2 weeks out than when this episode releases. This episode's going to drop 2 weeks before Christmas, and that means you're already on a tight timeline. So, chop, chop. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the list. First up on the list, and I guess I really jumped ahead of the gun as far as not being supported by any of these items. The first two items are only available on fieldquiveroutdoors.com. These are through Field Quiver Outdoors. As far as the other items, any items not sold on Field Quiver Outdoors, I have no affiliation with and don't receive any kickbacks from. So there's my disclaimer. All right, so up first, item number one is, you may recall from a few episodes ago, we had the Gospel Fly. And I discussed what the Gospel Fly was, its history, how it came into being, and mentioned briefly some of the items that are available on Field Quiver Outdoors with this design on it. Now, this first item is the lapel pin. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then this is actually going to be another item here in a minute that I have the lapel pin on. But the lapel pin is enameled. It's hard enamel and gold plated. As far as the gold look on the design is actual 22 karat gold plating. But that lapel pin, again, fieldquiveroutdoors.com, $6.95 plus shipping, through December 31st. You will also receive one of the Gospel Fly decals. That'll be thrown in there with the lapel pin for you free of charge. Normally the decals are $4 a pop, and that's in addition to the Gospel Fly trading card tracks that you will already get no matter when you order the lapel pin. Now, next up is decals from the Field Quiver Outdoors website, specifically Swoly Bear. Now, if you know somebody who is not necessarily into the outdoors a huge amount, but they know who Smokey is and they enjoy going to the gym, go ahead and get them Smokey's brother Swoly in a sticker, because why not? But in addition to the Swoly Bear stickers and the Gospel Fly decals, we also have the Jack Legs Jerky Plain Jane flavor fishing size decal, the Vienna Sausages Scup Snacks Stand Up Weenies can decal, and then we have our logo decals with the Field Quiver Outdoors. See, trying to get this in view good. And then also the Think About It segment, which I'm working on tweaking how I'm doing the Think About It segment, which you have probably noticed that I've not had a Think About It episode or segment in a while, but it is coming back soon, just a little bit different way, probably in the form of its own standalone episodes on the weeks that I don't have a normal episode of the podcast. But that's it for the Field Quiver Outdoors swag. Again, that any purchases there will support the show also. And moving right along, we have up next the Ride in the Rain ring binder kit. Now you can buy each item in this kit individually, but you can save a few dollars if you purchase it all together. What you'll receive is you'll receive the binder. As you can see here, it's a zippered binder. It also comes with one of the Ride in the Rain all-weather pins. It's a click pin. 50 sheets of the Ride in the Rain lined paper, as well as it's kind of hard to see, but the ringed binder itself that goes inside of the cover, which is the zippered cover, which is a quarter of material. Now, these are the cheapest. I found it on Amazon. You might can find it somewhere cheaper yourself, just by doing a little search around the internet. But for $57.50, I think it was, on Amazon. Now, this is the option with a multicam cover. So the quarter cover was multicam for the one that was $57.50. They had the other color options available, but they were a little more expensive. So again, just shop around. You can potentially pick up each item individually and save a few dollars, but according to this is probably going to be your cheapest option. Now, again, the Ride in the Rain, this one I've had for probably 12 years at this point, possibly 13 or 14, and it's still going strong. Now, you will not find this particular color. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is a green one. It's a little bit darker than an olive drab, and the zipper is still, I'll try and get that in view where you can see, it is still that coyote tan. Now, that is because the entire cover was once the tan, and I used some RIT dye to make it green because I wanted a green cover and didn't want to buy another one. So these stand up. They're made in America, and it's what I use for my bucket list book. Up next is the Morning Bite, which is the devotional book that Chris Wells, Captain Blake Smith, and James Niggemeyer all co-wrote. It is a very, very good read. It is a good devotional book. And in order to get these, give Chris Wells a call. Again, follow the link at the bottom of the show notes page to the full list of all of the items that I'm going over today. And his phone number will be there beside this item. All the others are clickable links, except for his, which this will be the fourth one down. And out beside of this got his phone number. Or you could just go to chriswells.org and you can find his phone number there as well. And these books are typically $10, but give him a call if you're buying them in quantity. You may can get them a little bit cheaper, but again, I don't know. I haven't bought them in quantity. I've only bought the one for me and one for my father-in-law. So the next item we have on the list is Yukon Outfitters Mystery Hammock. This is on their website. You might have to look for it a little bit if you don't go through the link on our website. But just to give you an example of what you would get as the mystery hammock, these are the two mystery hammocks that we ordered for my sons, two of my sons, a couple years ago. This is one, and again, as you can see there, these are made in America. These are the parachute style hammocks. They come with a strap. I'm not going to do a full-on review of any of these items in this episode. I'll work on doing some standalone reviews later on these things. But the reason we purchased these for my sons is, well, this was one, and then the other one, that one was in the South Carolina state flag. design, and this one is in the, they call it the nebula, is the term for the pattern that is printed onto this particular hammock. Uh, I actually purchased this one myself. I did not go the mystery route because I specifically wanted the camo. So mine was more expensive. The mystery hammocks are $20. Again, you don't know what print or color you will receive going that route, but it saves you about $60 on a hammock. If you don't care about the color or the design, just save you $60 and get you the $20 mystery hammock. You're not going to find an American made hammock any cheaper than that, that's of this good quality. Uh, as far as the ones that I've used before, I've had other brands that are not made in America, and this one has held up much better and is much more comfortable uh, than those others that I've had it used. Now, as far as the mystery hammock goes, again, just follow the link. It's hard to find directly through the Yukon Outfitters website, uh, or just go to a Google search and do the mystery hammock. Now, let me go ahead and mention that these prices that I'm going over, that I'm mentioning today, and the availability and my ability to access these links and find these items, this is good as of the recording date of this episode, um, which is December 7th. So hopefully they're still available. If not, you'll just have to look around to try and find it. Up next is an item that I do not have. This is something I actually just found within the last couple of weeks since I started tying flies. But this is actually an item from Finland. Now, it's pricey. It is quite possibly the most expensive item on the list, but um, I don't know. I've watched a couple of videos on it, and I'm just intrigued by it. But before I tell you what the price is, let me go ahead and tell you what it is. It is called the Palmer handheld fly tying vise. Now, this is made by a company called Hermit Company. Again, they're in Finland. This vise is actually made in Finland. And if you're interested at all in fly fishing and tying your own flies, then at least go and check it out, and let me know what you think about it. But it is designed so that you can hold this vise in one hand, and it's basically a pistol grip vise. I really don't know how else to describe it, but you hold it with one hand, and it's made and designed in such a way that you can use your other hand to still tie the fly and be able to actually tie a fly with one hand while holding this vise in the other hand. It's portable. You literally pull it out, get your hook in it, and start tying flies. So there's no need to set up a vise as in these other travel kits or anything like that. But again, if I'm new to fly tying, it might be completely unrealistic in terms of ease of use. But again, watch the videos that these guys have put out showing how to use it, and let me know what your thoughts are on it if you have experience tying flies. But okay, let me go ahead and get to the price now. Now, there's only one store that still has this item available. I had to email these guys to try and find one in stock, and they don't have a distributor here in the States yet. So they sent me a link to a Finnish store, which is, the way the email was worded, it is the only place in the world apparently that has one of these in stock. And I don't know how many they have in stock as of, again, the 7th. They still have some in stock, but depending on when you're watching this, they may be sold out already. But I had to convert euros to US dollars from the web store. But as of the 7th, December 7th, 2023, The converted price to US dollars, based on the current exchange rate as of today, was $170.96. So that could change on a daily basis depending on what the conversion rate is for euros to US dollars. Up next, now this is another item that I have. I bought it on a whim when I saw it in the store about a year ago. But those who are familiar with the K-Bar fighting knife, K-Bar has come out with a lot of items that use that iconic fighting knife handle design incorporated into these other items. And this particular item is a sport with a knife made into the handle. Now, again, I'm not going to get into a full on review, but for a plastic knife that is tucked away into the handle of a spork, this is a very sharp knife. I've used it to cut steak before and several other things, but again, I think the thing with this is more of the novelty appeal, especially if you're shopping for a Marine. But I mean, they have all kinds of stuff if you go to their website. But as far as the gift guide goes, the spork is on there, specifically the spork 3-pack, which I did not get, but I'm going to have to because of my kids now, because they keep wanting to use mine all the time at the house. But what's cool about this is if you buy it individually, you can only get it in black. Now, if you buy the 3-pack, they have two options. The first option is the standard, which runs for just south of $23 on Amazon. And it has olive drab, brown, and black, one of each. The other is they have a patriotic red, white, and blue edition where you get one spork of each color. And it's on Amazon for $28, but I actually found it on another website right before I came on here to record the episode. I think it was $25, $24, $25. So a couple dollars cheaper, but you probably have to pay shipping there. So I just went ahead and left the Amazon link, didn't change that. But up next is a cool little item that I found working on getting, actually going to have these guys on hopefully in the near future, probably near the beginning of the year, to talk about this particular item. But if you're an angler, if you're a bass fisher, you may already know about this. This is the J3 Fishing J3 Cross combo. Now, the combo is something new they've come out with. It has your blade, wire, and fork, the jig, interchangeable jig, and what they refer to as a depth charge blade, which allows you to convert this into a bladed jig. Now, let me get this other one for the folks watching YouTube to see. Now, this one is the bladed jig that I have on here. But the way this works is you can see there, again, I apologize if you're not watching this. If you get a chance, just go to J3 Fishing's website, click on the link, and you can watch videos about the backstory with this and how it actually works. But there's a thumb screw that goes through the jig head and into either the blade wire or the blade, depending on which route you're wanting to go, so that you can swap out the jig heads without having to completely change everything. And this also allows you to take them apart for storage, and it takes up significantly less room in your tackle box. You don't have to have the special blade boxes or spinner bait boxes anything like that. I just use a regular, normal Plano box, and they fit great in there. And again, that's J3 Fishing. Their combo right now is $16.99, I believe. They have had some sales going on. I don't want to say what the sale is now because I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, and I don't know when it's going to end. I hate for it to end the day this comes out, as opposed to when I'm recording it. But just check out the website, follow the link, look through the website, see what kind of specials he's got going on, and look into it. But he's got several options as far as what is included in these combos. And the combo is a fairly new thing, and I'm wanting to think that the combo is currently the only way to get a gold blade. You can get the silver blades individually, but I think you have to buy the combo to get the gold blade. Don't quote me on that. Just check out J3 Fishing's website for confirmation. And moving on, but keeping in the family of fishing, we've got the MEPS Lures grab bags. Now, if you're wanting to buy somebody quantity of fishing lures at a low price, if it's somebody that uses inline spinners, it's going to be hard to beat the MEPS grab bags. I've purchased probably 5 of their grab bags at once, and I got a ton of great lures. They're all brand new. Now, some of them are not in retail packaging. They're just loose lures in this plastic bag, this grab bag. But there's nothing wrong with them. They're immaculate. I mean, they're not even scratched in seconds. It's just discontinued colorways for the most part, from what I've learned from reading into it. But there are 3 grab bag size options that you can choose from. There is the double alt 1, which includes 6 lures. Now, it just depends on what type of availability and stock they have of how many of each size you're going to get and what the colorways are going to be. But you should get 6 lures as long as they're in stock. Now, they have a disclaimer on the website saying that you get that number pending availability in stock. So if they're running low, you might not get that many. Just call them and talk to them. They might be able to let you know what they've got. They might not. You can also do a size 2-3, which includes 5 lures, or a size 4-5, which includes 4 lures. These run $10.99 regardless of which size you get. Again, $10.99, you get 4, 5, or 6 lures, depending on which sizes you want. And they are brand new. Some are in retail packaging, some are not. Polka pins. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but these are pretty cool. I discovered these through Right in the Rain probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I've purchased a few more. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see just how well this one has been worn. This one I usually carry in my pocket every day. I've had this one for about a year, so that's not too bad as far as wearing off of camo. It's peeling off pretty decently, but it does still have some of the camo print that was on it. Now, this one was a little bit more expensive than the price I'm about to tell you, but these pins actually open up in half, is effectively what it does. And the cap, you take the actual pin out of the cap, flip the pin, and then it's got a gasket where you put the base of the pin into the cap, and it turns it into a full-size pin. They have a lot of different color options. They have several camo options as well. Again, I would say be wary. Eventually, the camo is going to wear off. I have not bought one of the solid ones, so I don't know that they would wear out. The color would wear off. I doubt it. I would imagine those are solid color throughout the plastic, as opposed to this probably being a hydro print, since the camo pattern. Looks like Cryptek. I don't know if it's actually Cryptek or if it's a knockoff of Cryptek, but either way, they have a lot of accessories also, which are kind of cool. My sons each had their own. They've lost them. So that is the only grievance with these, is because they're so small. If you don't keep up with it, you can lose it pretty easy. I've lost about 3 myself. Somehow I've managed to keep this one for a year. But these pins are $8.95 for a 3-pack. That is the solid color options. Again, the camo, like I have, is a little bit more expensive. They also have an all-weather option to go along with the Right in the Rain stuff. Those are more expensive. Those are $16 for 2. So again, just check it out. There's a link to their website. I didn't link it to a specific pin, but just because there's so many different options, and I don't know how much you're wanting to spend if you're wanting something that has the Right in the Rain all weather capabilities or just a traditional ink pen. But that's up to you to check out. They do have other special colorways, like I mentioned, some camo. They have at one point they had a thin blue line and a thin red line. I'm not sure if those are still available or not. And again, various types of accessories to go along with these. These are also made in the U.S. Up next is something that I've been eyeballing for a while now, and this is the nano cord, which is paracord but small. Now, originally I wanted the nano cord with the uh, attachment that would allow you to basically unspool it and cut it built in. But here recently, since the last time I looked, and going to actually get that item to list, they have something new out. I don't know how long this item has been out, but it is called the Micro Ready Rope. And it is actually a paddle type spool that you can keep the nano cord on. Now, it also has a storage compartment built into the middle. It's not a very large storage compartment. Based on the pictures I've seen, it looks like it'll fit like one of the little small beak cigarette lighters that you can buy at most any store. Um, Again, it's hard to tell what else it'll fit, but all the images I've seen that have shown it with something in it, it's shown that lighter in it, just to give you a size reference of that, how large that cavity is. It also has a cord lock to keep the nano cord from unspooling when you're not wanting it to, and it also has a cutter. Now, these spools, you can buy them individually without the nano cord, but most likely you don't have nano cord already, so you're going to want to buy it with the nano cord on it. And you can buy that for $12.99, most say $13 or $15. The $13 option is any of the nano cord colors that they have in stock listed with the Micro Ready Rope, other than the black reflective. The black reflective is a little more expensive. That's the one that's going to run you $15. Now, you get approximately 125 foot of cord on this spool for that price. And if you do happen to already have some nano cord, you can buy just this spool, which is actually what the Micro Ready Rope is. That's the name of the spool, for $6.50, and then put your own line on it also. They do have a version for your traditional regular size 550 paracord as well, if you'd rather have that. But the nano cord is something I've been interested in getting for a while, mainly for tying trail cameras onto trees. But up next, we've only got a few more things. Up next is a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive Swiss Army knife. Now, if you know me, You know, I like Swiss Army knives. I have a Swiss Army knife that I've had for probably about 7 or 8 years now, and up until I got this my current job where I don't want to risk it getting messed up. It was in my pocket every day. Now, if I'm at work, I have a different type of knife, but if I'm off work, I've got my Swiss Army in my pocket most likely. But this one is the classic SD Swiss Army knife, which is the small one that just has the nail file, a single blade, the flathead screwdriver tip on the nail file, and scissors, a toothpick, and your tweezers. Now, the design on the handle is what's cool about this knife. It is called the Squatchy Ranger. Now, it is an image of Sasquatch, basically a headshot portrait from shoulders up, and he is wearing a campaign hat, the Ranger style campaign hat that has Squatchy written on it. Think Smokey Bear hat, replace Smokey with Squatchy. In the background, along the length of the handle, you have a forest in the background. Now, they have two versions with this, two of the Swiss Army knives with this design on it. They have the classic SD, which is the one I've included on the list. That's the one I would personally prefer, just because if I were to ever buy another full size one, I've got my classic red handle one, the iconic red handled Swiss Army knife. I would have to either buy another red one, or I would want to do one of the fancier wooden handled ones that I've seen on occasion. But they do offer it in the, I believe it's the Tinkerer version is what it's called. Let me see my notes. I might not have written it down, but yes, the Tinker SA knife is the other option with this design on it. It's selling for $34. The classic SD, which is the smaller knife, is selling for $24. And again, that's a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. That's the only place you can get that design from. They do have a few other Sasquatch, Bigfoot designs, but this one to me is just, I just think it's cool. I mean, it screams outdoors, but I guess anything Bigfoot or Sasquatch is going to scream outdoors. Coming up next is actually two items. I'm going to run them together in this episode, but they're listed separately on the list on the website. To me, nothing is more iconic of the outdoors in terms of hydration than a Nalgene bottle. Maybe that's just because Nalgene bottles were such a huge thing when I was in high school and college, but I mean, ever since then, everything has been Nalgene as far as outside of Camelbacks. If it's a bottle and you're into outdoor stuff, you've got a Nalgene with your outdoor sticker slapped on it. Now, you can get, and that's specifically referring to the 32 ounce wide mouth ones. I don't know why. You can't drink out of the things if you're moving. I can't. I haven't met anybody that can. Anybody that's told me they can, they've been proven liars later when they were moving or we were driving and we hit a bump and they end up with more water on them than in them. But that's where the next item comes into play, is the Nalgene OTF cap. Now, there's another brand that I actually have on mine, but it's still threaded. You have to unscrew it to drink out of it. But Nalgene has an OTF cap. That's the name of it. And it actually makes drinking out of the wide mouth 32 ounce bottles manageable. Now, the bottle itself, you're looking at $17 with a cap, or if you're thinking you're going to upgrade and get the OTF cap so you can drink out of it while you're moving, you can buy just the bottle for $11 without a cap on their website, and then add the OTF cap for $7.70. So for 70 cents more, you're getting a cap you can actually drink out of easily while you're moving. Now, if you're sitting still, you can probably drink out of the wide mouth without getting too much on you. But I have seen some people that they just can't drink out of a wide mouth Nalgene to save their lives without getting at least some on their clothes. And the last item that is specific is a book that actually has to do with an episode that I mentioned earlier, the Smokey Bear birthday party at America's Cradle of Forestry. And this book is actually a reprint of Carl Shank's uh, memoirs from the 15 years that he spent at Biltmore Estate at the Biltmore School of Forestry. And the name of this book is Cradle of Forestry in America, the Biltmore Forest School, 1898 to 1913, by Carl Alwyn Shank. Now, this book is available from the Forest History Society for $15. You can probably find it on Amazon, I'm sure. But I just put this link here because I've enjoyed reading a lot of articles through the Forest History Society, things that they've published on their website, and wouldn't mind supporting them with the purchase of this book. But there are a few other things I want to mention that are, you'll have to know the person you're buying for to get the specifics of what you need to buy. But these are just general ideas of outdoor or nature related gifts for somebody. First off is an annual park passport. Now, the National Park System has their passport, and a lot of states now have park passports for their respective states' parks. Now, South Carolina, we do have one. It's changed over the years. At one point, there were 3. Then I think there were 2, and now there's 1. I think there's only 1 in South Carolina now. But wherever the person you're shopping for, wherever they live, if they enjoy going hiking, visiting the state parks where they live, look into buying them a park pass. There's a good chance if they go frequently enough, they already have one, but you can always look into it, check with them first, and maybe get them a gift card to the state park's website, wherever they live, in the amount of what a park passport would be. Let them know, hey, I meant this to be for our park passport, but if you've already got one, maybe use it to go for a camping trip, something like that. But if that might not be their thing, or you just don't want to go through the hassle of buying them something that they might already have, look into getting them a guided fishing trip if they're into fishing. That can be freshwater, saltwater, a guided fly trip, you name it. There's lots of options. Binoculars. Now, the reason I put binoculars on here, there are a few items. I asked my kids, hey, what are some outdoor things you guys want for Christmas? And binoculars were what 3 of them said they want. Now, for an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, I'm not dropping a lot of money on some high dollar binoculars. They'll probably get some $20 ones at best from Bass Pro or Walmart, just to get them where they can get used to them, learn how to take care of them, and then once they've proven themselves with what they've got, maybe we can talk an upgrade. But speaking of where to buy it from, maybe buy the person you're shopping for a gift card to a local outdoors business. Maybe like a fly shop, a hiking shop, you name it, a small mom and pop store somewhere that's focused on the outdoors, as opposed to the big box stores. Big box stores, that's fine if that's all you've got around, but support these small shops as much as you can also. One other thing that kind of goes back to the local of where they live is whatever the publication is for the state wildlife or natural resources department where they live or where they're from, even. South Carolina has a good one, South Carolina Wildlife Magazine. Um, I think it's Ohio. I've gotten a couple copies from, I'm almost positive it's Ohio. It's it's much smaller than the South Carolina one in terms of page count, but it's still a quality magazine. It's very interesting, especially for somebody who's never been to Ohio. Um, but the cool thing about the Ohio one and a couple of other states that I looked at is you can get a year of the magazines for $5. The subscription is only $5. Most of the magazine, I didn't look at all 50 states, but of the states that I did look at, the vast majority of them had 6 issues per year in a subscription, and most ranged from $5 to about $20 is what I looked at. I think the most expensive one I found was 20, might actually been 15. But again, I didn't look at all 50. But if the person you're shopping for is from one state but they don't live there anymore, as long as they still like the state that they're from, maybe get them a subscription to the publication for the state where they were born and raised, or where they're living now. Just, you know them better than I do, but that's just an idea. And just the last couple of ideas, uh, these two are also from my kids: hiking boots and a 22 rifle. Now we're going to try and make that 22 rifle happen. Just have to make sure they don't listen to this episode before Christmas. But if you're shopping for a kid and they're telling you something that's not out of line, not unrealistic for what they're wanting, that will encourage them to grow their interest in the outdoors, consider it. Don't completely throw it out as something coming out of left field that is not going to happen, unless again it's something that's just unrealistic. But maybe find a way, if it is something that seems unrealistic, find a way to maybe modify that wish a little bit where it's still along the lines of what they're asking for, but something that's doable for them, something that they can handle, and will help them continue to grow in their interest of God's creation. And then the last thing on my list is not to leave the bird watchers out. Get a bird feeder, a bird house, or a bird bath for the person you're shopping for. Bring the nature to them. That, if they can't get out anymore, can't go out into the woods, into nature for whatever reason, try and bring it to them where they can, either sit outside and watch the birds, or they can watch from inside. They can look out and still find pleasure in what God created.